What's up, my loves? My name is Paige, this is Pages with Paige, and today we're going to be doing 7 on Sunday. So 7 on Sunday is a Goodreads group created by Grace from G Swizzle, and I'll leave a link to both her channel and the Goodreads group in the description box below. This week's topic is tropes that you hate. And I struggled. There are some obvious ones that I have found. So I have found 7 that I really despise. I also don't have examples of where I've hated it in books, mostly because if it's in there, I try and forget about it, or I haven't stumbled across it because I know that that was a key representative point in it. So obviously, number 1, one of the most hated are love V's. Not love triangles, love V's. So there is your protagonist, and then there are 2 people off to the side, and usually you've got one that's the like nice little cinnamon roll, and then you've got the bad boy who's obviously not, they're going to be like the lustful interest, but it's not actually someone that's going to be a long-term contender. So yeah, love V's just overdone. I really don't like it. Obvious, Twilight was pinnacle time for that, and it's just a bit boring, really. I think that it can be done so much better, and we've moved past the point of needing to have a love V. Tune in next week for a trope that I love related to it. The next is a trope that I have realized just how damaging it is, and that's love or magic cures all. So for me, I loved everything, but being an able-bodied person, I didn't think about how the representation could be so harmful to a wider community where this disability rep is just non-existent. And people were looking for that, excited for it, because it's about a girl who can't leave the house because she's allergic to the outside world, and then it just goes up in flames when she chases after a boy. So I still love the book because I haven't reread it critically, but I understand just how damaging it can be, and I would not promote it as good disability rap. The third trope that I'm sort of just getting over is the I'm not like all the other girls trope. I think it's just a little redundant at this point. Okay, cool. So you're either a girly girl who likes makeup and talking about boys, or you're this bookish loner who's not that pretty till you go through your makeover scene. You wear Converse and... No, you can have both. We're not like other girls because everyone is an individual. Everyone's unique. Everyone is their own selves. That's why you're not like other girls, because there's only one you. If that was the way that it was addressed in books, I feel like I'd really enjoy it, but because it's normally pitting against one another, it's just a trope that's overdone and really a bit boring. Which leads me into my 4th trope, which usually this dichotomy and the prevalency of I'm not like other girls will usually relate to girl on girl hate, because the loner girl or the social outcast or the one that's not quite right really hates girls who are girly, and that's not okay. Like, why can't you be bookish and like wearing makeup? Why can't you wear heels and fight the baddies? There is no reason that they can't cross over, and there is no reason to hate on the opposite. Why is the protagonist of a lot of YA books and movies the pretty girl who thinks that she can get away with everything because she's got big boobs? Like, and then she's slut-shamed throughout the entire text. Just, no. In Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis, I think this is excellently handled because one of the characters, their partner cheats on them, and the character then proceeds to hate on the girl who he cheated on her with. And the protagonist shuts that down and goes, well, no, he's the one that you should be mad at. He's the one that cheated on you, not her. You're not in a relationship with her. Don't hate on her. Like, you can obviously be upset and annoyed, but don't hate on just her. Takes 2 to tango, and it's your partner that's done the error of their ways. So I think it was really excellently handled in shutting down slut shaming. The next trope that I really can't stand to see, and I have read a lot of these and have enjoyed them because I get so entangled in the romance, and that is abusive relationships being romanticized. I feel like it is so encouraged to see these abusive relationships, and it is so damaging. And being one of these people that just fall in love with the idea of being in love, it really takes me a long time to go back to that book and go, hey, wait a second, that was not healthy. Like ACOTAR, Tamlin's extremely abusive towards her, but it didn't register on my conscious level just how abusive it was, and everyone's like, he's a dick, and I'm like, I don't understand what he did. And then it's through conversations that I realized, like, oh, right, this is actually bad, because for me, these notions have been so romanticized that I can't even see it. And I think that's more reflective on the publishing industry and my own experiences than the book itself. The next trope that I really despise is having all particular races or species on one side. So having all the ogres and the giants and the goblins be these ugly creatures that are evil, and associating ugly and deformities and all these other negative associations with evil. Why? Why not have a good ogre on one side and elf or a nice fairy that's on the evil side? Why isn't there that dichotomy, that difference? Why does it need to constantly be one and the same? Why do we need to continue to perpetuate these negative stereotypes, really, where it's encouraged that if you're ugly, you are evil. If you're pretty and gorgeous and light and beautiful and ethereal, you're on the good team. Hell nah! I've seen so many beautiful people be ugly and be evil. And I've seen so many ugly people be absolutely lovely individuals and be on the right side. Have your morally grey characters, have depth, have diversity. Don't just put them in a ticker box. Yay! I'm just overseeing that, and I think there was, I'll leave the cover on the screen, I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but the recent ogre retelling where she's the protagonist and she's the good guy, I think. Or morally grey, either way. And number 7, the trope that I absolutely cannot stand is having token diversity. If you have one black character, if you have one gay character, if you have one character that has a disability, or one character that has a mental illness and they're portrayed as being your anxious or your depressed friend as a side character, you're not writing very well. I think it's so important that stories start to reflect reality, and that is not cis, white, straight people. That's not the population. If everyone in your story is white and you have that one token black friend that talks in a particular way and then dies off on the end, that's not original. That's not helpful. That's just poor writing.
Don't look at me. I read a book and I don't see their colour. It's a person that I'm reading, not a colour.
Yeah, but if you were asked to describe them, if someone goes like, what's the nationality of the person in the John Connolly book, what's the immediate picture that comes to mind?
Black person.
Yeah. And then, you know, if there's a black person in a book, they'll like be described as having chocolate skin or some else colour that's sensual, and it's like, what do we get called? Fucking pasty ass bullshit.
We don't get called anything because we don't.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's
wrong.
We're not, our skin colour is not identified because it's just considered the norm.
Yeah.
And that's appalling, because the norm is not just white people.
Why can't the norm be everyone?
Yeah, precisely. So those are just 7 tropes that I really cannot stand. I think that they can be, with the exception of token diversity, I think that there can be exceptions to the rules, but no, there shouldn't be the exceptions to the rules. Abuse should not be romanticized. Diversity should just be stock standard, and it should not be tokenistic. Having races should just, or species, should be diverse regardless. I'm not like the other girls and girl hate. It's just, it's all unnecessary. Like, make your book accessible to a larger majority of people, and don't be a cliche. And if you have struggles with that, talk to people. expand your networks, form some new ideas and opinions. So that was me going on a bit of a rant. I think becoming more educated in the realm of publishing and what is prevalent in books and tropes that do exist, I'm starting to become more of a critical reader. I still read for enjoyment and I fall into these traps all the time, but as long as I'm able to reflect on it and to think post about it and not promote books that are negative representation, then there's growth. I still have a lot more growth to do, but hopefully one day these tropes just won't exist. Yeah, let me know in the comments below what's your most detested trope, and if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!